Okay, let's move on to general posts for Survivor Series Saturday. Excited to see the "Where Are They Now" video from Joel, from our friend Joel, but the community wants to hear from you. If you're watching this and you have not participated in our Survivor Series, now is the time for you to sign up. We are scheduling now for people into 2024. We want to hear stories from survivors, from their caregivers, even from individuals who have lost loved ones or friends to aortic disease, because it is educational for those that are watching, for those that are reading. It is validating. It produces questions within us to take to our own physicians, and it will be therapeutic for you. It might be emotional. It might be emotional, but when you think about how many people you're really touching with your story, I think it'll turn real quickly to being something that's very therapeutic. And you have three different ways to be the shining star in someone else's life. You can submit your story in written form, which will be turned into an audible. I don't know which computerized voice will be chosen, but it will be turned into an audible on our YouTube channel. You can also do a pre recorded video, or you can go live like I am right now with Jenny and have an opportunity to answer questions from community members. So that's the most exciting one. I think they're all fabulous, but to have a chance to really, and in live time, take questions from your fellow community members, I think is pretty great. And brave soul. So what do we want to know about? We want you to share your story in your words, the way you want to tell it. But we would love to know about what the experience was like, whether you had a dissection, what were you feeling? What were some of the symptoms? Everybody's curious to know because everybody's a little different. How was your diagnosis process? Were you turned away? Was it misdiagnosed or underdiagnosed? Were you given the golden standard of care and received that CT scan right away? What surgery did you have? How long was your recovery and what's going on with you now? If you are in the watch and wait category, what was your diagnosis like of receiving the news that you have an aneurysm or bicuspid valve? And what decisions were made between you and your physicians? And really, from everyone, we kind of want to hear, have you had any conversations with your family? Because oftentimes this is genetic, it's hereditary, and we kind of want to know that you've shared that information. So tell your story. And there is no story that's going to go too long. And you want to make a costume change? Have a costume change. As your cat walk by, I don't care. If the dog starts barking, just be yourself. It's so much more relatable when you're just yourself. But that's our Survivor Series, and we would love to hear from you. And you just need to click the link, and someone will be in touch with you.
And you should also take a moment and mention that you did tell your story on Jennifer Fernjack's Emotional Growth podcast.
I did. I
Yeah.
did. I did. And I think that's on her YouTube channel as well as ours, correct?
I think we brought it over. I think it's in there. It
Yeah.
might, if it's not,
Yeah.
I'll make sure it gets added. It should be.
Yeah. I have many different versions of my story now that it's 9 years later. I have the original one that was, oh, I go, and gave all the details about saying goodbye to my son. And I mean, cried. And it was like, it was emotional basket case. And then there's the story where I just kind of lay it out there, but I really want to focus on where I am now and how my life has turned upside down. But maybe upside down was the right side up I needed. Karen 2.0 isn't that different from 1.0, but then again, it is so different. I was an avid roller coaster rider. I'm not riding roller coasters anymore. I, tried scuba diving. I'm personally not going to try that again with two aneurysms and a dissection in my chest. That's my personal choice. There was a lot of things I couldn't do, but there's so many things that I started doing since then. So I am not disabled. I am differently abled. And that's kind of the message I like people to take away, that everything here with Aortic Hope was selfishness turned into selflessness. They are all ideas based on a community and where their needs are. And we just made those needs become fulfilled because we wanted them fulfilled for ourselves. So my story is important, but not as important, I think, to certain people as seeing how one lives with this every day. And to trust me, that does not mean I don't have my own mini panic attacks. I am back in therapy right now doing EMDR, because I was losing the battle of anxiety and triggers for so many different reasons. So, I'm a patient just like everybody else, just trying to make sense of everything since this happened to me. And, Jenny, your experience with Survivor Series?
I actually wrote mine. I have
Mhm.
not been brave enough to go online, so
Hey,
it's
but that's
something
okay.
it's
Writing what's
something I
important
need
to
to
you.
do. I really should do it.
Make it be your 2024 resolution that sometime in 2024, you'll just tell your story
I think
online.
that's a good idea. That's a great idea.
I challenge thee.
Challenge
It's just
accepted.
different. It's exciting. Whether you go live or you do a video, totally up to you. But writing a story is very important too. I've written it a couple times and it's always interesting when I go back and I look at the different versions. I think you see personal growth when you see it written down and then you see what you chose to do again or what you chose to say again. And so even to those of you who have already done your Survivor series, come back. Come back. Tell us where you are now. Tell us all the great things that you've been able to see since this event. All the things you've been able to experience, the places you've gone. You know, there's something wonderful in every day. That's what I like to think. That's me. That's your Survivor Series Saturday.